So that's it for Dallas Trinity. Now we're going to head to my favorite segment. It's really the only one I produce and care about anyway, but love you guys. We're going to go to Around the Ground. So we're going to start close to home and then go further away as we go.
Around the ground, Marcus with a frown.
Basically. Me,
Let's
never
go.
happy. So shout out to, they just got a slight shot there, Texoma. I saw this on Reddit. They're announcing that they have official supporters group. So that's pretty dope to them. I think I talked to the guy on Reddit, so I'm going to try to get him on the pod here soon so we can discuss their first season, and I hope for many more seasons with them up at the historic Bobcat Stadium. And I'm just going to say that.
I do hope that this gets off the ground because obviously off the ground. Good one. It wasn't, but it is. Never mind. Marcus, edit that out. It wasn't.
Yeah, totally. On purpose.
I do think they really they can benefit from an atmosphere up there. Last time I was up there, the atmosphere was me arguing with the assistant ref for 45 minutes. So
is
nobody
that
wants
not what soccer is?
Yeah, pretty much. That's that's Sunday league at its best right there. For sure.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. But it was a Saturday night, so there's that. Fun fact though, this is going to not be the only supporter group named Flight Crew in USL. South Georgia Tormenta has a supporter club called the Flight Crew as well.
Yeah, I mean any.
Well, this is a Mockingbird, so it works.
Yeah, any team with a bird. So technically, Madison forward could be the Flight Crew. Flamingos don't fly. No, they do.
Yeah, they do fly.
Yeah, never mind.
It's penguins that don't fly. It's penguins and chickens.
And ostriches and yeah. Anyway, so shout out to these guys. Yeah, what were you gonna say,
Marcus? Have you been out to one of their games yet?
No, I had not. So it's on my list for sure.
Yeah, I might be going Wednesday for my first one. So
nice. I know there was some talk about maybe doing a doubleheader at some point when we've got an afternoon.
October.
Okay,
in October. Yeah.
Keep that in mind. There's what?
I'll give you the exact date in a minute.
I believe. What is it? Texoma plays the afternoon and Dallas plays at night, or is it vice versa?
The other way. It's flipped.
Okay. Yeah. So that check us out. Check out our socials. We'll post more about that once we've got that confirmed. But that'll be fun. Do a little
October 4th. FC Dallas, I believe, plays at 3:30, and Texoma plays at 7.
Double header. Start in southern Oklahoma and work your way up into southern Oklahoma.
Pretty much. You also have to pace your drinking for that trip, but we'll make it work
because there is no train.
Fair enough. Well, no, you can take Amtrak from Dallas to Oklahoma City. It just doesn't run on this route. But yeah, I just wanted to say shout out to these guys. That's pretty dope. Yeah. I always find it funny. The established thing to me should only be on things that are old. So when you start a new organization, guys, do not put the year on there. Okay,
look,
just a little hit from me.
Since we've been hitting on Austin all game, the fact that like year 2 they had that Austin Legends tifo.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
Yeah. Okay.
It was all Austin Bowl players at that point, but yeah. So the next thing we're going to talk about is we talked about the Heat earlier, so we're going to talk about how maybe the Gainsbridge Super League, there was some discussion about why they decided to start their inaugural season with a fall-spring schedule. I personally think it's a test run for when the men's professional leagues also go to that switch, proving that the weather really isn't as much of a holdback as people point out to be. So this was it Saturday? The NWSL wanted the game on Big Boy at CBS in prime time, and not prime time, 4 p.m. because that's apparently CBS. That's their only soccer window because USL game also going to 4 p.m. for some reason. Odd. I don't know what it is because there's nothing really going on during the summer. So, but yeah. So, wrong one. Remove next time production. So there was a 3-hour delay for this game for Heat. It ended up being at game time. Wow. It was 94 degrees. Which means on the field it was 110.
Yeah. Which means the ground was probably like 120 degrees on the ground.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be a 3 p.m. kickoff Eastern. 3 p.m. Central, so 4 p.m. Eastern, the calculation. They ended up delaying this for 3 hours, and obviously it ended up not being on Big Boy CBS. So what do y'all think of the scheduling, summer scheduling? Because it seems that between this discussion and the Club World Cup, there's now some serious discussion about maybe playing soccer in the summer, not a great idea.
Look, summer, winter, American weather is terrible, right? Especially in the Midwest and the center of the country, right? We have really extreme scenarios of heat, and then on the other end, driving snow, wind, ice. Pick your poison at this point, right? This sucks for the fans that were out there, right? There, a 3-hour delay for lightning and rain is one thing. You get under cover and hide in a stadium somewhere, drink some beers, hang out with your friends. When it's this hot, it's not great for anybody, right? You can't have a good time, right? You're trying to drink water, you're sweating it out. I mean, we deal with it in Frisco all the time for 7:30 kickoffs. It can be 100+ inside that stadium this time of the year. So, go ahead.
From a perspective of just like medical stuff, the biggest killer weather-wise in this country is heat.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Nothing comes close to it.
Someone pointed out to me that they'd rather play in the winter because you can move to warm yourself up. There's absolutely nothing you can do to cool yourself off.
You can't take off more layers. Heat is the biggest killer, and as we're seeing, we don't even have to get into climate change or whatever, but that's where our biggest numbers that we're seeing any differences are, though, is people just dying heat death.
Yeah, look, even just at the Austin game this weekend, and look, I'm a Guardian, right? I've been drinking beer all day Saturday, right? I was out on a boat in the morning. I went to brunch. I was drinking beer all day. I was trying to swap in as many waters as I could, trying my best to stay hydrated. I woke up Sunday morning, my legs were cramped from just dehydration, right? Like I woke up with a Charlie horse that literally rolled me out of bed. I had to roll on the floor. Part of it's getting old too, but part of it's just being an old man. But that heat is just it's a kill. Like you said, it literally is a killer. And
yeah,
maybe we need to start to if we're not gonna move the schedule, maybe we need to start taking summer breaks. I don't know. But
do you think that part of the fear that people seem to have about switching to a fall start is that they're worried that we'll get less eyes on our soccer because of it running in tandem with European seasons?
Part of it.
Yeah. I think it's just something you're used to. Soccer is a summer sport in America, right? But
it's not high school. In high school, they play in the winter.
That's the thing. But here's the thing. Everyone's switching. The NCAA is about to do a long format for college soccer. USL already announced they're going to move. And MLS, all the new MLS owners who are foreign owners come here and be like, why the fuck are we playing in the summer? Right?
Yeah, right.
It's one of them things like everyone is pushing in the other direction. So it's, at a certain point, I think we will. I think they missed the boat on doing it next year. Everyone already knows my thing. It's like, hey, you play Leagues Cup running up to the World Cup, and then you start your season, and then that's how you switch it.
The transition makes so much sense.
Yeah,
right there.
In my brain, I don't know how you do it any other way, because if you say in December the season ends, you're like, hey, we're not going to start playing again until the fall, and you go without soccer for that long. That's how you kill a brand. Yeah. So that's not going to happen. But yeah, I just thought this was good. This was interesting news. Like I said, couple this with the Club World Cup, all those players over here saying that the heat was unbearable. I know the Rose Bowl game, they almost canceled, but this is, it is what it is. They ended up not doing it.
And the Rose Bowl is, Southern California. It's hot, but it's not humid like it is in Texas.
It's not Houston.
Right. It's not Houston. It's not even Austin, right? Like LA is reasonable. Like when it's 100 degrees in LA, it's still not terrible, right? Yeah. Like the humidity is not there, but the UV index is up on a lot of these games, and it's not safe, and it's only a matter of time before somebody gets hurt, like significantly hurt.
So I just want to be an asshole and point out that there will be almost no games stopped in the Game Bridge Super League for winter weather, but somehow they stopped it for this one for the hotness. So, anyways, we're gonna move on to the next. I'm just a dick. Whenever I feel like I'm right about a point, I gotta point it in. So another thing, there was a lawsuit about this. So I know people really focus on the NASL lawsuit against U.S. Soccer. U.S. Soccer also filed a lawsuit against, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if it was FIFA or the Spanish League in particular, against holding domestic LaLiga games in the U.S. But they either lost, settled, or the money won. I'm going to guess all three of those things are all possible. But there's going to be a Barcelona Villarreal.
Wait, this isn't for sure happening yet, right?
Because no, it is.
I thought it was only approved by the league. It had to go a couple of steps further still.
So this was approved by everyone. However, the date is now in question because there was a Miami Dolphins game scheduled at the stadium.
Yeah, see, I thought it still had to go up to UEFA and FIFA. I thought this was
FIFA's already approved it.
Okay.
And fun fact, I just happened to see it right before we started this. I saw a post on, I was like Reddit random, and it was what is the most corrupt organization in the history of the world? And the number one response was FIFA.
Oh, yeah, that's not shocking.
The history of the world.
Okay, first of all, have we met the U.S. government? Never. So, yeah, this is the only country where, like, every 50 or so years they release all their secrets, and we're like, oh shit, all that stuff we thought was conspiracy theories ended up being real, and you're like,
back and to the left.
Yeah, don't go watch Black Jesus or anything like that.
Yeah.
Back
I remember
and to the left.
All I can tell people is like MK Ultra is a myth until you actually read those documents. You're like, oh no, they really did try all that shit. That's crazy. Anyways, that's to say that FIFA is a non-profit, profitable organization that seeks more profit. So we'll just rock with that. But what are your thoughts in general about? Because the argument I saw a lot was, hey, if they allow this, basically there's going to be some Liga MX games that are going to draw here more than any MLS game, and they're going to do it with ease. So,
yeah, I have a lot of thoughts on this. So, Hubert, I'll let you go first here.
I feel less worried about maybe Liga MX at least coming over every now and then, because at least they have real fans here, like a lot of them. That's a little different to me than even La Liga.
Wait. You think Barcelona doesn't have real fans here?
That's not even what I mean. I just mean, like, there's going to be a traveling contingent that, like, from Tigres, it's going to drive up from there for that.
Yeah.
And they're going to make it a thing, right? Like, it won't be that different from me wanting to drive up to Chicago for a game.
Yeah.
It's very different for me for it to be like Barcelona Villarreal. I mean, I think it's a cash grab, right? It always is. But my real thought here is I'm trying to decide if it's good or bad or just neutral, I guess, for the game in the US, right? I want to know how our soccer culture will benefit. And the best way I can think of is I remember when I was younger being excited to see these big European teams show up and play here. I am excited at the concept of having an actual competitive game here, not just these weird summer tournaments. But I don't know if that outweighs the very cynical cash grab and not caring about the players having to travel and all this stuff. Yeah.
I will, before Dennis runs off, I will say another benefit of the summer of MLS or North American leagues changing to fall spring is that it actually makes the summer tournaments work, because we don't have to stop our league in order for us to go play a bunch of nonsense friendlies. It would just be our preseason warm-ups would be their preseason warm-ups, and then it would work instead of mid-season like it is now. But yeah, Dennis, what thoughts? Barcelona, Villarreal.
You guys know I'm usually like Club World Cup was a cash grab, right? And I get that, but I was kind of a fan of it, and I was a defender of Club World Cup. I think it's a cool idea. I think it's a cool concept. We talk about things like forced rivalries between Dallas and Austin and how that's sort of a cash grab for, trying to create these fake things and whatever is fun. And as long as it's fun, I'm usually okay with it. I'm really not about this at all. This to me is a slippery slope to, first off, Liga MX coming up here and just completely eating our lunch, especially in, places like Texas and New Mexico and things like that. What's at this rate, what is to stop Chivas or Club America to build a stadium in El Paso and play half their season in El Paso, right? What's to stop that? And who does that hurt?
That's already happened and failed, just for the record. But yeah, go ahead. But
who's to stop that from happening now? And who that really hurts is that's going to hurt New Mexico United. That's going to hurt El Paso Locomotive. And I think things like this are going to, and the slippery slope is, we've got this is La Liga. What happens when League One wants to come in and do a series of games here? What happens when the championship wants to come and do a series of game here? That dilutes the American product, and it is pulling eyes and dollars. There was only so many soccer dollars in America, believe it or not. As much as everybody going to buy a USL club right now believes, there is a limited finite amount of soccer dollars in America, just like there is a limited finite amount of sports dollars in America. And I think this is going to severely dilute the American product if we let this continue on and go down this slippery slope. I think we are going to be in a world where our product is diluted because people would much rather go see Barcelona Villarreal. They would much rather go see PSG play Lyon. They would much rather go see Wrexham play, I don't know, somebody give me another championship team. I can't think of one off the top of my head. Right?
Derby. Is Derby in it still? I don't know.
No,
right.
They're League One, but yeah.
Oh, no.
See, that's how that's how a system's supposed to work. You're not supposed to know who's in the league from year to year. So who knows?
But what's when you start, and again, this is one game. This is not going to ruin the world. But what happens when you continue to allow that to happen? And we have got a fall. And let's for the sake of argument, Marcus, let's say we move the MLS season to a fall spring calendar, right? And we're running up against the same schedule, right? And now we've got La Liga games here. We've got EPL games in here, or at least championship games here. We've got League One games in here. We've got Bundesliga games here. We've got Liga MX games here. And every weekend you can go see a monster global club anywhere in this country. Why the fuck would I go see Austin FC? Why the fuck would I go see El Paso Locomotive? Why would I go see Forward Madison when I can drive down to Milwaukee and go watch a Bundesliga game, right? It's going to dilute our product, and I think it's very, very bad for the overall development of soccer in America, which is still has not reached what it should, right? That it's still the 5th, 6th, 7th sport in a lot of these markets, right? So you're just diluting that product, and I don't think it's good for anybody involved on the state side of the game, regardless of how you feel as a fan, which I think those fans over there are rightfully justified as well, right? And I know those supporters are really hot about it, and I agree with them. I wouldn't want our league games being played anywhere else either. Would you guys want to go see FC Dallas play? Right? Would you guys want to go see FC Dallas versus Houston in Mexico City? Like, I wouldn't want to give up a home game for that.
Okay. Are you good? You good cooking?
I'm good. I'm done.
I
rant
think
over. Rant over.
First off, slippery slopes aren't a thing. That is a logical fallacy.
But this opens the door to
really
a lot
need
of
to
those
be worried
things
about
because
is
you're dealing with case law.
Let me finish my sentence.
Okay.
You're setting a precedent. That's what it is. That's what we need to be worried about. Setting the precedent of how to do this right if you're going to do it. I'm not personally for them doing this, but if you're going to like gum it up and make it happen, because they're already trying to eliminate competition anyways. You saw them all hop onto this Super League idea, right? Like they clearly just want to control the market anyways. And I don't think they really give a shit about us as fans or even their fans. They just want to go wherever they're going to get the most money.
Right.
And for that reason, I'm worried that even if they try to figure out a way for this to make sense, they're just going to keep doing it and make it worse every time. Like Real Madrid was against them doing this only because it wasn't them getting the money.
Well, no, they wanted the El Clasico here, and they're like, that's never going to happen. I don't even think the Spanish league would allow that.
That would be crazy.
I'm gonna go on my little rant here, mostly because I love when I'm right. Here's the thing: we all knew slippery slopes actually do exist, right? The Super League was a slippery slope, and they're just etching away around the circle in order to get the goal they want.
They do not exist. The illusion exists as a bias.
Sure, fair enough. It's one. All right. So there's an old quote. They said they came for X group, and I said nothing, and then blah blah blah. You know the phrase I'm going for here, right?
Yeah.
That's what I refer to as a slippery slope. Everyone's against a thing everyone's for. They're for the bad guys doing the bad things to bad people until they realize that eventually someone's going to see them as a bad person. That's what I mean by slippery slope. In this instance, we all knew this was going to happen. I get Dennis's point, like, hey, this is going to affect. All right, so I disagree on one point. I don't think there's finite soccer dollars in this country, right?
Dennis, you meant like entertainment dollars?
No. He means that there's certain amount of money that will go to professional soccer, and it's a small pie. Therefore, it can't grow. I don't actually think that's true. And every time a team like his point, so there's a finite amount of dollars for soccer in Miami, but that doesn't mean Boise can't build a 10,000 seat stadium and sell it out every game. That's soccer dollars that no one was touching before because no one was going to play in Boise, Idaho. So this is what I mean by there's not necessarily a finite amount. And there's zero chance of these big clubs coming here and going to El Paso, for instance, right? They're going to go to LA, they're going to go to Miami, and they're going to go to New York. We already know the markets they're gonna. So the people, the thing that this hurts is MLS, which is why U.S. Soccer sued, because U.S. Soccer doesn't necessarily have a dog in this hunt, other than the fact that it affects Major League Soccer, and we both know when Major League Soccer says jump, U.S. Soccer says how high. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Tail wags the dog.
Yeah, right.
Is what that called. Since we're talking about logical arguments.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is this sucks. It shouldn't happen. There is no way. Let's say the Sun's here now. All right, Sunny Boy's here now in LAFC. Let's say LAFC and the Galaxy want to go play a derby in Tottenham Stadium. Do you think the Federation, the FA, would allow that? They would tell them to kick every rock in the building and leave here as soon as possible.
Sand.
Laugh them out of the country.
Exactly. So I don't know. I am. When people say and we're going to wrap this up really quickly. When people say the U.S. soccer market has not matured, this is the example they use. We are not a serious organization. They don't realize every other country in the world, mature country in the world, uses the U.S. market as a piggy bank. They do not care about growing the game. All these mini Barcelona youth academy dreams that they sell these kids that pay upwards of $3,000 because eventually you might travel and play a game in Barcelona. They're never going to sign you. There's never been an instance of any kid going to a Barcelona academy and being signed to the Barcelona first or second team, right? But they sell you that dream and they pump money out of the system. So right now, USL Youth and USL Academy, MLS Next, and the USL Soccer or USL Youth Soccer Association are negotiating on how they can combine. And every one of these mini human beings who are fighting for their own fiefdom are not realizing that if you don't combine to get these kids into your system so that that money and talent can stay here, all you're doing is allowing. Barcelona's a big youth system here, and I can't remember what's the German club that wears yellow and black. I can't remember them. Dortmund. All they do is they siphon off the money, and none of these kids actually end up in those systems. But I think we're all in agreement here.
Yeah,
money grabs are bad, and you don't get to select which money grabs are bad.
And they're bad for our soccer culture.
Yes.
Well, let us know what you think in the comments. Respond to us on social media at Dallas Guardians.
Hold on.
X.
One more thing. I want to shout out my boys in Detroit. This
looks good, baby. It looks good.
Brand new stadium.
Yeah.
So shout out to those guys. Looking forward to going to a game here, privately quotation mark funded stadium. Looking forward to this. And next week we'll have news on Sacramento Stadium. But I just want to shout out to those guys up there. But yeah, so we're Dallas Guardians on everything. Like, share, and subscribe. We look forward to seeing you guys either at the Cotton Bowl or Toyota Stadium here on August 23rd. Come join me at the tailgate. We will have fresh beer, non-foamy beer, which is the important thing.
We got the kegs fixed. Awesome. Like, share, subscribe at Dallas Guardians on X, on Meta, on Facebook, on Threads, on Instagram, on what are we on right now? We're on YouTube, right? You can find us on YouTube. If you're listening to the audio version only of this, we're on Spotify. We're on Amazon Music. Come find us wherever you are. Thank you. If you've made it this far, you are a true sicko. Thank you for staying through all of our true sicko shit talk here. Around the Grounds is our favorite part, but we put it at the end because we know you really love it. Shout out to all of our listeners. Shout out to our friends over at Copa Tejas. Shout out to our friends at Austin Beer Works. Shout out to our sponsor, Community Beer. Shout out to HEB. Shout out to Chef Matt, Chef Charlie, all the guys that make this our tailgates incredible and make them what they are. And shout out to these two guys right here. Guardians out.